Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, All About the Goddess. The Goddess Next Door bears all in the art studio to catch a campus stalker in this action-packed Isis series mystery. Get your copy of Isis, All About the Goddess in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. One of my viewers wanted me to talk about beta males who act like they are the boss in the workplace. Now, in this group of beta males, these are individuals who usually are in low-level positions, but they want to act like they are a supervisor on the job, and they want to go out here and look to tell all of their coworkers what to do, like they are some authority figure. Now, these kinds of beta males, what they want to do is go out here and pose and flex like they are some sort of boss on the job, and they can make a workplace an extremely frustrating one for anyone on that job who does not know how to effectively deal with individuals who go out here pretending like they are a boss on the job. Now, these kind of individuals usually are found in jobs like retail, or they're found in jobs like customer service, and these kind of guys or girls, they kind of like to be what I call peacocks in my book, Stop Simping, in the workplace, where they like to dress up in fancy designer clothes, and they want to make it look like they are some sort of boss, and they want to go out and look like a leader, but in actuality, they are not ready for any sort of leadership position. Now, many of these kinds of beta males, what they want to do is try to show the bosses that they can go out here and be very competent by taking on extra responsibilities that no one asked them to. And what they want to do by trying to show out on the job is create a covert contract between themselves and that boss, hoping that all of their extra work will be seen favorable, and that this will possibly lead to them opening a door where they can receive some sort of promotion. Now, these kinds of beta males, when they try to pretend like they're the boss on the job, they basically show a textbook example of an organization where the leadership is extremely weak. Now, the reason why these guys go out here looking to pretend and flex like they are some sort of supervisor on the job is because the supervisors on the job have not done an effective job of establishing formal authority among all of the coworkers to know who is the leader in the organization and who everybody has to follow as related to the chain of command. Because where you have strong leadership in management, you do not see individuals going out here looking to pretend to be some sort of supervisor on the job or looking to assert authority in the job, because they know that if they try to step out of the boundaries established by management, what they will be is disciplined and checked and to be known who is in charge at that organization in that department. When you have strong leadership, that boss lets everybody know that everything starts and ends with them. And as they let everybody know that everything starts and ends with them, they let everybody know that if you did not hear it from me, then you did not hear it at all. But when you have weak leaders, what they do is open doors for these kind of beta males to try to flex. And these beta males, what they do when they are being delegated a task, what they do is use that as a way to open a door to try to take power. Now, what will happen in some cases is a manager will delegate a minor task to that person, and what this beta male will do is let it go to their head, believing that they have some sort of power, and because they believe they have some sort of power, they use this to try to show the other coworkers that they are so-called special, and use that to try to get power by trying to tell other coworkers what to do, and look to try to manipulate coworkers into believing they have been put in charge because they have been given a delegation of a task. So that's where these guys start creating these ideas in their head that they are some sort of supervisor, and that can easily be checked by coworkers by saying, did the boss tell you to do that? That's how you easily check that. Or if you really want to give this person a hard check, you go directly to the supervisor and you tell them that this guy told you to do something. And that's when an effective supervisor is going to go in and call this guy to the office and let him know who the boss is of the department and let them know who is in charge. That is what a boss will do to shut this guy down. But a lot of bosses these days are very weak, and because of their weakness, what they do is open doors for these kind of beta males to think that they can go out here and flex. And as they think they can go out here and flex, they think they can go out here and tell coworkers what to do, and they think they can go out here and do things in departments that they are not authorized to do. And if they are not checked, what these guys will do is start taking on things that they are, one, not trained for, things they're not authorized to do. And when they go and do these things, that's when other bosses have to come in and give this guy a hard check, because in most businesses, any business person who is worth their salt, they're going to ask this low-level subordinate, okay, who authorized you to do this and who authorized you to take that action? Because if you were not authorized by a supervisor to do this, then you have no business doing it. This is a major problem with these guys who want to pretend like they're supervisors, is they want to take on responsibilities on the job that are not theirs. And again, this is all part of the covert contract they create, hoping that this will impress a boss, but it's not going to impress a boss, because we know what really impresses a boss is staying in your lane. Because if I am not trained to do something, then I'm not gonna touch it, because that could put the company at liability for whatever happens. Moreover, if it's something regarding special equipment, like for example in the supermarket with a deli slicer, or with something like a backhoe or some sort of vehicle, this could lead to possible serious liability issues and fines for a company, especially in the case of construction equipment, if an untrained and unauthorized and unlicensed person is handling that equipment. Because if you're not trained to do something, then your response is supposed to be, okay, I am not trained to do this. Let me go find a supervisor or the individual who is authorized to do this. But with these beta male wannabe managers, again, they want to show out. And as they go out here showing out, they just show everybody how much of a loose cannon they are. And they show you how much of a loose cannon they are, because they do not know how to respect formal authority, nor do they know how to respect chain of command. Because when you are on a job, it is very important to go out and respect formal authority and chain of command, because you want to protect your job, one, Two, you want to protect your safety if you are handling special equipment or you're dealing with things like legal policies or business policies. You want to stay in your lane because you could go out here and do something that could damage the business's reputation and the brand by going out here doing things you're not authorized to do. Now, these guys, these beta male wannabe managers, they will make excuses saying, oh, I needed to do this because we were in a hurry. But no, you can never be in a hurry when it comes down to the business, because the actions this guy takes basically wind up making mistakes that a supervisor has to come behind and try to fix, along with possibly dealing with customer relations, because while you rush to do things trying to play like you're the boss, you don't really know how things are done. And that's a big problem with these kinds of guys. They want to go out here and try to show out, but all they show people are that they are just too ambitious and they're willing to compromise ethics. So it makes it where that individual is someone you just can't trust in a business transaction. So these kind of guys, they want to call themselves playing the boss, but they don't understand the importance of staying in your lane. And you want to stay in your lane when you're on the job, even if you're doing a low-level position. You want to stay in your lane because you don't want to put your company at risk, one. Two, you don't want to go out here and wind up alienating your supervisor, because if they hear you're doing extra, they're going to get really mad about that because you're doing things that you're not delegated to do, and that can put you at risk of alienating them because, one, you're doing stuff that they didn't tell you to do. Two, you are going out here and making them look like they are not in charge by undermining their authority. And three, by doing extra stuff, by trying to play like you're the boss, you're basically going out here and showing how little value your work has to you. Because if I'm paid to do a certain job and I call myself doing extra, what I'm doing is saying that my labor has less value. Because if I'm going out here and I'm in a low-level job, like a clerk job, and I'm doing manager work, what am I doing? I'm going out here doing extra work, lowering the value of the wages I'm being paid. Because smart guys, they go out here and they say, okay, yeah, there's a problem here as related to this job, but that's not my responsibility because I wasn't paid to do that. Now, if somebody is looking for certain services or certain things to be done that are under the authority of a supervisor, then I'm going to go and find the supervisor and let them know somebody wants to talk to them. That's as far as I'm going as related to a job, and that's what most smart men do. They go out here and they say, look, I'm going to do what I'm paid to do, no more, no less, because this company owes me nothing but a paycheck, and they're not paying me to do extra. But the beta male, what he wants to do is think that if he does extra, a covert contract will be fulfilled where he will be rewarded. But in most cases, these guys don't get rewarded. No, they just wind up embarrassing themselves. And as they embarrass themselves, what they do is wind up putting themselves in a position where they are either going to wind up stuck in a dead-end position because nobody can trust them to stay in their lane, or they put themselves on a road to termination because their attempts to try to be the boss are basically are insubordination at the most extreme, and they are also a nuisance. So most bosses don't want this guy on the job because he's a loose cannon. But if he starts to flex in front of you, again, the solution is very simple for dealing with these kind of guys. And the solution is to go and say, okay, did such and such boss authorize that? That's what you tell them, because they are not in charge of anything. And if this person, you don't really trust what they're saying, then you go to the supervisor directly and get the message from them. But the main way you can stop these kinds of beta males from trying to play the boss is to have a good organization with strong formal authority, because if you have an organization with strong formal authority, what that does is it creates an environment where everybody knows who is in charge, and they know who in the chain of command they report to, and they know that if this person is the one presenting the information, they know that the source is true. Again, strong bosses stop these kind of guys from taking on this type of idea in their head that they are, some sort of boss. But in a lot of work environments where you have beta male bosses, you will see this kind of guy come up, because what he does is go out here and give people these pseudo titles like acting manager or co-manager, or goes out here and delegates tasks as related to management to them, and this gasses these guys' heads up to make them think that they can tell other people what to do. But in a good organization, these guys get shut down quickly, and they get shut down quickly because they know that in the business there is one leader who asserts authority, and that one leader asserts authority and insists on accountability. And since they insist on accountability, they create a standard in the workplace that lets everybody know what the line is, and that's what shuts these guys down, because they let people know there is one boss, there is one person in charge. And if they go out here, they let everybody know who is in charge. Even when they leave, they let people know, okay, I have delegated authority to this one individual, and everybody has to answer to them. They put accountability as a gold standard. So when you have this type of beta male, he's easy to shut down, because yes, they will question authority, but that's when people have to assert authority by shutting this individual down. And again, shutting this person down is very easy, because where you have a organization with leadership, they can be shut down, and they can also be shut down in places with these beta male leaders by saying, okay, that is not your position, that is not for you to do. We don't need you to come in and do extra. No, if you're not authorized to be in charge of anything, then nobody has to follow your lead. That is how you shut this type of beta male down, because if you're just a clerk or just a stock person, then you're not supposed to be doing management jobs. And in many of the jobs that I have had, they put that clearly in all of the paperwork as related to the policies of that company. They let everybody know, okay, if that's not your job, then you don't do extra. And if you're on these jobs, and a lot of them don't pay that much, then if I'm not paid to do extra, I'm not doing extra. No, I'm just going to do what I'm authorized to do as related to my job description. And that's what you need to let this guy know, because he's basically selling himself short, trying to be a boss in a place where he hasn't paid any cost. And if he continues to try to be a boss where he hasn't paid any cost, he's going to be in for a huge loss of respect of his coworkers and a possible loss of his job. Now, if you want to learn how to identify workplace predators like this, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping in the Workplace, in paperback and Kindle format on Amazon.com. And if you want me to do more workplace videos like this one that was requested by a viewer, you can send a donation of a minimum of $15 to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the link in the description box. That's all I have to say for this workplace video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available for the first time in paperback. Stop Simping in the Workplace. Men, learn what you need to know in order to protect your job from workplace predators with Stop Simping in the Workplace. Available in paperback at online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, Godbreaker. The man who rules the world takes on the Asgardian god of thunder in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes, Godbreaker in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.